Well, hello and good evening. For All Mankind, Season 5, Episode 2, The Hard Six has aired, but we're just getting started here on Live Long and Podcast as we continue our mission to watch every episode of For All Mankind. And we're breaking it all down here tonight. Whether you're joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, or catching the audio version wherever you get your podcasts, our mission to watch every episode of For All Mankind continues here. And now, this is your captain speaking. Though unlike Ed Baldwin, I promise not to steal a hopper and pass out mid-flight. I'm your host, Dave Mader. Well, Earth is tightening its grip, and the cracks between the two worlds are widening. And we got a top-tier panel once again to break down the fallout from this explosive second episode. Coming in first, Lee's been arrested. The Peacekeepers are flexing harder than ever. And Ed Baldwin just pulled off the most reckless jailbreak in Martian history. And if there's a crack forming in Happy Valley, political, structural, or moral, he's already tracking the fault lines. It's Jeff Mader.
Oh, hey, I didn't expect to go first. I'm tracking everything. I'm tracking all the fault lines. You're right.
He's tracking all the fault lines. Also tracking fault lines. Helios finds organic compounds on Titan, and half the colony starts dreaming big. But here's the guy who's asking who's paying for it, who's lying about it, and who's getting fired when it goes wrong. It's Adam Woodward.
Hey, guys. Sometimes you got to roll the hard six.
Sometimes you do.
Easy six.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you're just an asshole.
Sometimes. Depends. Depends on who you're talking to.
It depends how much Parmesan cheese you put on your spaghetti.
Always all the Parmesan cheese. Speaking of which.
Oh my God, that just drove me nuts. But anyway.
If there's a moral boundary, he's measuring who crossed it. And in an episode where Dev gambles on Titan, Ed gambles on a hopper, and the Peacekeepers gamble with justice, he's got opinions. Just don't pour too much Parmesan cheese onto some bad Baldwin spaghetti. It's Kevin Millard.
I really, really hope that wasn't his last meal.
It might be, but I think you are correct. It will not end up being his last meal.
And this episode's called The Hard Six, but it's a really hard 60 to watch. Like it's bad.
It's a hard 60 to watch.
Like all around the whole episode?
Yeah, I hate it. All of it.
And of course, the man is always positive. Ed steals a hopper, nearly depressures himself into oblivion, and Helios is juggling Titan data like it's a live grenade. If a system breaks, mechanical, political, or human, he's the first guy to explain why and how it should have worked. Jody Simpson, everyone.
It's true. It really is true. Dave, I haven't even woke up yet from watching this episode. That's how boring it was. But you know what? There was a couple scenes I did enjoy, which is more than I can say about last week's episode. So we're going up, and there's that positivity I'm known for.
We're going up, everybody. And Heather will be joining us shortly. We expect she has a house guest that she is taking care of. So she'll be probably coming in a couple of minutes here. We got some headlines, from this episode. Of course, spoilers if you've not watched The Hard Six, the second episode of the season.
Start, I can't take this optimism from Jody. This is like a new man.
That was his optimism.
That's as good as you get, baby.
That was Jody Simpson optimism right there. Yeah, he's
it's what I'm known for, Dave. Really,
you are really. Yeah,
always the optimist I am.
Yes. Speaking. All right, let's talk about our headlines here. Lee was arrested we saw they showed up to arrest him at the end of the first episode, so he's now been scheduled for trial on Earth. They found some organic compounds on Titan, everyone. There might be life on Titan.
Can I just say about Lee's character? Like, they're trying to make us, like, really care about this character. Mm-hmm. And I just don't. Like, I just don't think it's earned. Like, he was in season 3, but, like, he was Korean. He barely spoke to anybody. Season 4, he was trapped behind the North Korean paywall. And, like, so, like, I just don't understand the love affair that they'll have for this character. Like, maybe like the characters, but the audience, I just don't. Why should we care so much about him? Like, like that's the thing. Like, I don't
think we do. I think that's
sometimes I feel like the creators of the show have a sense of like who they think are really popular with the audience, and maybe I don't know if that's true or not. I don't. You're the only other audience members I talk to, so
The same crowd that thinks that Starfleet Academy was good.
well, it's a mixed crowd, you know. It's but like I guess with Lee, you know, he has like I think that last episode of season 3 where they introduce his character and you know you get that whole like montage of him in the capsule. Like I think he won over a lot of the fans in that episode. I remember going into that episode, Kevin's like, "This is stupid. A North Korean was on Mars," and then he's like, "Actually, this was a pretty good episode," and I kind of like this character afterwards. You remember that, Kevin?
Yes, I do.
So
It's
I guess
still a stupid idea, but they made it work.
I'm more talking about what they did with his character in season 4.
In season 4, well, they continue this plot line with him and his wife, and it continues even here into this season now. You know, and I don't know.
They mention it twice.
Yeah.
They don't really. It's not really a plot line through that
No.
season.
Well, that he wants to like, I guess, bring her to Mars, right? And then
Right,
he
in
gets
the first episode, and then they do it in the last episode and mention it never in between.
right. Yeah, that's true. But now they were reunited on Mars, and now it's all ruined. But who cares? Like, we're not that invested in the character, I think, and I think that's a miscalculation here by the runners who are like, oh, we're all going to be so like distraught over Lee, first man on Mars, absolutely. But you know, like, and now, like, I guess when Ed is like willing to stage this jailbreak, is anybody with Ed in this moment?
I don't think he's gonna risk it. He's old. He's already a prisoner. Like, you know, he doesn't really care. His grandson thinks he's an asshole. I mean, like, you know, there's what's there to live for, I guess, in his head. I guess that's the point of the episode, you know.
Well,
so you might as well do something heroic. I think that's kind of like, you know, go out with a bang.
The other thing we learned in this episode there was a plot line from last year or last season, I guess, was Svetlana. We didn't know what happened to her after she went back to Earth, and specifically she was to stand trial in India because she pushed over that Soviet Helios guy, and his suit came off, and he nearly died. So they said, "Oh, she's got to be charged or tried in India, where it's by a neutral country." And allegedly, she hung herself in her cell, but that's probably not what happened. She was probably killed by the KGB. So I guess for Ed and them, they feel like this, huh?
What? Sorry, I had choked a little. Sorry.
But like, I guess so. Like, this is like life and death, I guess, for them. We're supposed to like, you know, if Lee goes back to Earth, he's dead because somehow North Korea is going to kill him. The North Korean KGB, I guess.
On that Svetlana thing, like we were all kind of invested in what was going to happen to her.
Yeah.
And in writing, there is this thing called show don't tell, but this show does it exactly the opposite.
Yes.
They set something up and then they just a season later tell you what happened to
They
them.
do it in a montage, and they're like, "Hope you saw it."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's so like I largely agree with you. I'm like, okay, like whatever. And they get Lee to I guess what's the Brazilian / Chinese base over on the other end, which they don't have an extradition treaty with. So I guess we might get some new characters and some conflict with that group potentially. I don't know if North Korea is in the other group with China or not, but if they are, that might actually be bad for Lee. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so those are a couple things. What other things we learned? Kelly is going to Titan. She's got all this conflict with some other Helios guy who's going to be the commander.
Who is that guy? Is he new?
He's new.
All right. Yeah, I don't like him.
No one likes him.
I like him more than Kelly.
Yeah. I mostly like that he doesn't like Kelly.
Maybe that's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right.
Anyway, Alex radicalizes toward. I don't know. Alex is getting closer to wanting to become like a Martian rebel, I guess, or you know. But his grandpa
His
said
grandpa
no.
wouldn't let him
Father
know.
off.
Yeah. And we also.
Sorry, Adam. I think I talked over you.
No, I just said his grandpa wouldn't let him.
He's shut up, you dumb kid. I can't let you.
Adults handle this.
Yeah, I can go to prison, not you. And We also
is he trying to protect him, or is he just being a dick?
No, he's just being a dick. He was pissed off. He says,
Right.
He says, you didn't even come to that meeting with me, so go and play in the sand on your little video game.
No, I know. I was trying
You
to
just prick.
I was just trying to like.
I think it's both. I think he's protecting him by being a prick.
Right. I think
No.
No.
I think it's
Ed's not in it for anybody else except Dad.
It's a 5% protect, 95%. It's like there's a little hair of it,
That's generous.
He's like,
And
you're
this is-
Kelly's
this is-
boy,
That's
right?
generous.
It's akin to like sending him down the street in a bike. That's the way it is. Like with
Yeah, you're Kelly's boy. Let me teach you how to ride a bike.
They really just want to reinforce, do not like this character, audience. Like Ed Baldwin, the whole time he's been this way. We want you not to like him, even though he's our main
easier
character.
to count the amount of characters that you like in this show versus the ones that you don't. Like, off the top of my head, there's nobody that I really like.
They often get rid of the characters you like.
Yeah.
Like last year, it was like the girl that was like the leader of the union. Like she was like kind of like a rootable character, and they're like, "Well, I'll get rid of her." She
Massey,
Massey, she was like a rootable character. They remove all those, and then like it's kind of like in this episode tonight where like Kelly Baldwin is just like, I don't want to go on this mission.
who was the
But I
flight director?
do. It's just like, yeah, you totally want to go on this mission. She's like, no, I don't. And then like the guy's like, well, you're going because you're like part owner of the company, and it's stupid.
I was saying this as it was happening. I was like, what are you talking about? You're a part owner in the company, Kelly. Like,
You can put your ass right on that ship if you want.
yeah, I'm like, what are you like? And then she goes to debt. I'm like, what? Like, anyway, the whole thing was like a waste of time because, like, I'm like, well, like, but I guess they have to demonstrate this to us.
That's the running. That's the running thing with this show.
I guess the other plot line that is kind of building out in this season is like, because the whole thing with Lee, that he's been accused of this murder, but there's really more this bigger conspiracy going on with this Russian company called Kuragin, which I guess is a competitor to Helios, but they're Russian based, and they're doing some shady stuff. And you got Boyd, the new character, the cop lady, who's like, figuring stuff out and getting into the stakeout of it all. And I guess there's a mystery that's being unraveled there. Who doesn't like a good conspiracy, everyone? Jeff Mader does.
I don't like this one. Is this a good one?
Yeah,
We'll see. We'll see.
I don't like a bad conspiracy.
He doesn't like a bad one. Okay. Well, we'll see. Maybe it will be a good one.
For me, this show, like, what is the point of this show anymore? We started watching this as kind of like a what if or an alternate history. Like, the show doesn't even give a flying fuck about that anymore.
Right.
Like,
no. The M6 is
about-
the most like the
That's
most
about hostile takeovers.
the most we got in this episode of like the alternate universe was like the whole M6, and then Baldwin having that conversation with, is it the turncoat guy? Is that who he's talking to? Who's he talking to in that scene?
What scene?
In the scene where he's in the office room, like where he's talking, like, and the guy calls him like criminal, and he's like, I'm not a criminal.
Oh,
he-
that's
that-
the, like mayor or whatever.
He's the governor.
He's the
The governor.
Okay, I
That's
thought
the
he was on the
governor, yeah.
mission, like he was on Mars.
He used to be an astronaut. And now he's like the Russians' like appointed governor, I guess, because the governor, I guess, rotates between American or I guess M6 nations in general. Like who
that
gets
was
to
like
be?
because like that was to be like the most alternate universe thing about the episode, is that you had a Russian guy, but he's like the Russian guy is a part of like the alliance, and that's very different from like our world. Like that would like the Russian. I guess the Russians are on the Security Council, but other than that, like they wouldn't be in an alliance with all these countries.
Because in this timeline, it seems like you got America, Russia, and the other M6 countries. Like that's one side, and then the other side is this. What do they call it? The ISN nations. So we know Brazil and China are two of them. I can't recall who the others are, but I guess those are the two alliances at this point. So one's way ahead on the space race, and one's way behind. And that's all we seem to know so far. Anyway, and Ed might be dead, everyone, but he's probably not. That's, I guess, the other thing.
No, they're gonna kill him in like a hospital bed, and everyone's gonna come cry in his hospital bed or whatever, and then he's gonna die that way. I think that's what they're gonna do.
Okay, well, maybe we have
He's gonna choke on terrible Parmesan.
Yeah.
I
We have
want
a
to see him
fresh-
get thrown out of the airlock and hit the windows of the arboretum.
All right, hold that thought. We have a fresh perspective coming in here. Coming in with the blue look. She's stylish as ever. She's clocked the emotional shockwave this week from Eli's arrest to Alex's radicalization to Aleda's drowning under pressure while Titan dangles hope in front of her. When the personal meets the political, she feels every beat. Heather Narduzzi, everyone.
Hello all. I apologize for my lateness. I was serving haute cuisine and haute fashion as well. But
Was it
here I am.
spaghetti with Parmesan on it?
Jean Parmesan?
With
No.
half of the container of Parmesan.
The disgusting Baldwin spaghetti would never, ever disgrace my kitchen.
The first thing I thought of when I saw the amount of Parmesan that was on it is he using that to soak up the water? Because maybe
yes.
he is.
It looks a little watery.
It is pretty wet, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know I missed the first part of the discussion, but the general consensus
Show sucks.
is
That's about it.
upper.
Very down, Heather.
They never asked me yet, Heather. They never asked
Well,
me.
we don't need to, but
We
it's
should, actually.
okay.
Listen,
I changed
Mr.
my mind on
Negative,
this.
we know where you are now.
We don't even ask anymore.
I actually liked this episode. I did. Truthfully, I did like this episode.
There you go, everyone. So Kevin doesn't like it. Jody doesn't like it. Jeff's
thought it was
confused.
Okay. Like
There
it
were
was
some
okay.
scenes that were good.
It was like I thought the ending was kind of neat. It was like a little heist kind of scene, but it wasn't very good. But it was okay. It was exciting a little, and everything up until that was really boring.
It's like watching two people run in slow motion.
Okay, Jody, this is the
Listen,
best.
they made a whole show about that, and it was called Baywatch, and it did very well.
It did. It was the biggest show in the world.
But it's not known for its storytelling.
Yeah, but you know what was better? Baywatch Nights.
Baywatch Night's even better.
That had good
Especially-
story.
Yeah. Well, Heather, what do you think about it?
I gotta say, I liked it better than last week. At least something happened.
That's
Mhm.
true.
So that's nice.
Like anything looks better when it's on the ground, and we come up a bit, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe
the
that's
first
where my
one,
optimism comes
yeah.
from too.
Yeah, I can't help it now but be watching this show, especially while this is happening while Artemis 2 is making this trip around the moon
Mhm.
and everything else, and how it's like watching all the clips of them in space and watching everything coming from Mission Control to them. It's making me like pine for the older seasons, where that was such a point of the show, right?
Ed made a callback to when they blew it because they weren't, invested enough or didn't take risks.
They did what Artemis is doing right now, where they're just flying around the moon, and all of a sudden, the North Koreans are going to make it there first.
Quite unexpectedly somehow, but it's how it's what happened here. Yeah, I think what they're trying to set up for this season is this political war between Mars and Earth. And even though I think about how far away those Artemis astronauts are in real life, and that's not even near as far as Mars, and I'm just like, are people going to be so petty like this?
Yes.
Well, I guess that's probably accurate, but
Yes.
I see these four real life astronauts right now in our timeline. Have you seen any interviews with them? They seem like such awesome, perfect people, and they say all the right things, and they have they're so noble and hardworking and not petty and
That's called media training.
media training. They have and Ed Baldwin never got any, I guess, and
It was the 60s. They didn't know.
they didn't know yet.
Well, they didn't have Ed Baldwin until the 60s to tell them they should have had that.
Right.
Yeah.
And
But
so
you know what? I have to say that I was a little concerned that was going to be Ed Baldwin's death scene. And then this character we've known for 1 minute finds him dead, and that's the end of this character.
That would be so.
Get out
this
of
show.
here.
That would be so. This show, though.
I wouldn't mind that,
Yeah.
honestly. Can
Well-
I read you one quote somebody who said this is how I look at this show now. It's how much it can be entertaining by how bad it is. And
so bad is good.
yeah. So
So-
this
No.
is a great comment here. This show thinks it has to keep one of the worst characters in the entire show alive just because he was there since the beginning. And to keep him alive, being playing a mix of Indiana Jones with James Bond, turning the show into an unbelievable mess. From a grounded approach in the first season, it has developed into a soap opera territory with a plot happening just because they want it to happen. Nothing is serious, and we have colonies being hijacked by a bunch of old men playing cowboys. Just make Ed Baldwin go away.
Well, we might get our wish. Yeah, I feel like he's dying this season no matter what.
Yeah.
It's just about how they're killing him off.
Oh, they're going to drag it till season or episode 10.
I wish it was now.
I would like to have him have a satisfying death because let's think about.
That would
I
have
want to
happened
see him
in
get
season
hit by a
2 or
car on
3.
a bike.
Let's say hit by a car on a bike. I mean, poetic justice, right? But think about the way that they first shot Generations. That James T. Kirk got shot in the back by a minor villain, and then he died. And they did at test screenings, and the fans were like, "Absolutely not." That cannot happen. Now, I'm not comparing Ed Baldwin and James T. Kirk by any means, but of course they're going to really make a production out of him dying. But if it doesn't happen this season, I'm not even watching the next season. There's no more excuses for Ed Baldwin to be alive on Mars.
Especially if they go another 10 years into the future. Like, come on.
Well, if they go 10 years into the future, they have now developed being able to put heads in jars like in Futurama.
Futurama style.
And Ed Baldwin will just be sitting on someone's like desk.
That is the only acceptable way to keep Ed Baldwin on the show. I would watch
that.
And actually, if we were keeping with how this show treats its characters, it would have just 3 seasons from now, Ed Baldwin would just be gone after this scene. And 3 seasons from now, they'd tell us.
Be like, oh, by the way, he died.
Yeah. Like the one thing I agree, Heather, with you that this is not going to be his death here, and maybe that wouldn't be fitting. On the other hand, I like it would be kind of more realistic.
Look how they killed Karen off. Like Karen was a very unsatisfying death.
Yeah, Karen though made sense though because it's the end. It was the last episode of the season.
Right.
The actor, like a lot, like they were getting rid of actors. Like I get those ones, you know.
And she kind of had a heroic moment before she goes out.
She already
did, yeah.
Like Molly
I didn't
Cobb
find
too.
necessarily her death unsatisfying. I found it very sad, but I found like narratively it fit in the show better than Ed dying in this episode would have.
Yeah. Like, I would think that Joel, if you're Joel Kinnaman, you're like, I want to go out like Trace and Gordo. I want to go out at something like that, saving the world,
The problem is
Mars.
he can't go as fast as them.
Well, neither do the Hoppers. Like that was the funniest scene. Like the Hopper.
That's what I said.
chase
It's
scene.
like watching 2 people
Hopper
chase
chase
each other
scene.
in slow motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
But I do think that we have to bring up the fact that this season is setting up like the murder mystery of it all. Like that's basically what they're doing in this season. And I just can't help but think about the killing and the fact that you have the actress and Joel Kinnaman both, and they share a scene in this episode. And I just think like that's not over. They're gonna share more scenes.
Yeah, but
yeah,
you know what would have
so-
been better if they would have done that when he was much younger.
Yeah, so they can make out.
No, not.
I would have.
Yes, that's what we were all
Now it
thinking.
would kill him.
Just take it. He could have taken her on a date and
He
fed
gets
her.
an STD and dies.
Are they romantic? And I haven't seen the killing,
No.
so they were no.
No.
Okay, all right.
They're
Well,
partners, and he's kind of like she's like the straight edge like detective kind of, and he's like the like undercover pretending to be a drug addict kind of get information detective. That's kind of Joel Kinnaman's
So
character.
Scully and Mulder.
Yeah, pretty much, very similar.
But more
Okay.
edgy.
more edgy. Okay. Well, one day, but
So
if everyone.
shall we dive into the
Yeah, I'm
screenshot?
right. I was about to say, let's dive into screenshots. The episode's only like 40 something minutes. Oh, and by the way, this is the 42nd episode overall. Came out on Friday, April 3rd, 2026. Written by Bradley Thompson and David Weddle, who were long-standing Deep Space Nine writers, and they've written many episodes of this show as well. And this is the second episode, directed by Sarah Boyd. Okay, let's jump in. So we start here on the promenade with the Domino's, with the Starbucks, and the different places. As the servants and restaurant here at Ilya's. We got Ed and Al. What's his name? Alex, right?
Yeah.
Alex.
Alex having some food here on the promenade, but then they hear the cries of Lee's wife. Is she saying, "No, you are arresting my husband"? And she's crying out here and causing quite the scene here on the promenade, the business area.
I'm just glad that bubble tea isn't a thing in this universe.
Yeah, well, the Domino's is gross.
Oh, there you go. And then we got the Dales are here, and you got Palmer.
Everybody's witnessing it. Yeah.
Everyone's witnessing in here. No one can believe that Lee. Everyone loves Lee. He's a loved figure here on Mars and throughout the world. And the peacekeepers, the beret wearing peacekeepers, they are saying this could turn into a civil domestic incident here. And Palmer says this is a gathering is against the code or something, and you have to all disperse immediately. And everyone's pissed off.
It's definitely a fire hazard. What happens if a fire breaks out? How are they going to get out?
Yeah. And they're like, do something to Miles. But Miles is like, I'll only get arrested. I can't do anything about this. And so Lee's getting taken away. And we see Ed. Ed's calling here. He's doing this is the symbol. This means I'm with you, Lee. For Mars.
A heart attack.
I'm having a heart attack. I'm having angina.
This is the third one today.
Yeah. And that is kind of the teaser of the episode, is that Ed is going to do something here for his friend Lee. As we get the hard 6, our title card for the episode, as we go into credits. And after credits, we get this footage here from the Seeker 04, which I guess is on Titan, on one of the moons of Jupiter, digging through rocks. And this is one of many tests they've been doing for some time here. But then they call over this new character we meet, this supervisor guy. If anyone remembers his name, that'd be great. But
probably like Schneidi.
Schneidi. Well, Schneidi's here, and they've detected some acids and peptides in this rock on Titan that could be indicative of life, and it's a big, huge moment here, discovery-wise. And this information goes back to Helios. So we got Aleda here talking to her team, saying we got to, work all the science and don't let this leak from here. And this is a big discovery. We got to stay ahead of our competitors, etc.
Who are their competitors?
Well, like this new company, Kurgan, like this one they've introduced in this
company. Yeah.
They just brought in for the season. Who they seem shady. We'll bring them up again. Anyway, so then Kelly finds out that they found this discovery on Titan, and like I guess all this year she spent in this crater here on Mars. A decade, yeah. Hasn't bared any fruit. So while she's excited by this, she's also seemingly disappointed that she's not the first to make this discovery. That's how it goes. Back as we head through Mars, we see Ed wants to go see Lee here, and I guess what is the police station, the peacekeeper station on the base. And he wants to, Ed asks to see Lee, but he's denied. It's against the rules. The governor's not allowing any visitors. And Ed's not happy about this.
Ed's really rocking that old man outfit, though, eh?
Is he ever?
Did you see the pleats in his pants? They were insane.
How could I miss him? Yeah. Anyway, so Ed has an idea. He's like, if they won't let me see Lee, I will just, sit down here. Oh, he's even wearing Velcro.
I never noticed that. That's amazing.
Yeah, they're really going the old man thing here.
His Velcro shoes, precious.
Oh yeah, and he is an old pot stirrer here. As he gets out a paperclip, and he basically messes with his ankle bracelet thing, and that's going to set off an alarm, which then gets to him thrown into the cell next to Lee. So this is what is required to visit Lee, and basically
they only have 2 cells.
They only have 2. I guess they only have 2 cells. They don't have many crimes committed here. So Lee wants Lee's help. Thankful to Ed, and Ed's going to try to figure something out to help him. Basically, is what he pledges here. That's kind of the end of that. Meanwhile, someone's getting high. It's Alex.
How dare they?
Yeah, he's hitting the pipe.
That's a really
here.
Weird phallic pipe.
Yeah, I've had one like
Jody.
No, you can have some that are clearly a pipe. This is not one of them.
I don't know. I like smoking out of dick pipes myself, but that's personal preference.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't be such a prude there, Jody. Alex is trying to get high here. He's talking with Lily Dale. That's her name, Lily Dale. And the Russian girl who's more pragmatic, I guess. And she, because Alex and Lily are all about, like they think
idealism.
Yeah, they think Lee is innocent. There's no way that Lee could have done these things. But the Russian girl, I forget her name. She's like, if who's to say he didn't break the rules? Sometimes people can be more not what they seem, right?
Which is not wrong. I mean, he did almost choke a man to death in the last season.
Yeah.
Yes.
True.
The portrayal of millennials here, because these are millennials, not Gen Zs, and they act like Gen Zs.
Right. Well, it's a different timeline here.
Play the genre, play the
concern.
generation. You're this is supposed to be 10 years ago or 14 years ago, whatever it is.
But the internet happened at a different time in this timeline.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, maybe they are Gen Zs.
So, but anyway, they're casting some doubt here on this. I think that's mainly what this point of the scene is, to kind of say, well, how do we know the lead didn't commit this murder? We can't.
I'm already tired of the lower deckers here.
This is the next generation, Jody. They're meant to take over season 6.
Oh God, help us!
Alex is gonna
It's got to be better than another Ed Goes Rogue fucking episode. Like, come on.
Yeah,
they're gonna have Ed's stuffed body with them.
Weekend at Bernie's Ed Baldwin is going to be season 6. Called it.
Yeah, probably.
They preserve them by throwing them outside when they're not using them.
Kevin made a great comment there. Ed Goes Rogue. Like, haven't they learned yet? Just put him on a tighter rope.
What? How much tighter of a rope can they put him on? He's got an ankle bracelet.
Prison.
Put him in prison.
He still does everything. He still gets away, Heather.
Put him in a pod.
Firing squad, but whatever.
Put him in a pod, like 20 miles down the road and give him a Bible,
and then we'll see how he does. Yeah. Anyway, so then we got what's his name? Miles. Yeah. Miles and his wife, they're in the storeroom. They're upset about this Lee thing, and they're we see that Miles gets a text from some unknown name that needs to talk here. So he kind of finds a way to excuse himself away from his wife as he heads out.
Like a liar.
Like a liar would. And he heads out here and he goes to his secret meeting, which I guess does this place have meaning? I'm trying to understand because I just watched season 4 with you guys and I didn't understand if this was supposed to be like a place. Is this where he used to run his bar or something? Maybe. I don't know.
He's like a double agent. He's like now feeding information to the.
We find out that Miles is meeting with Palmer, who is the sheriff now of Mars, and he's been at some point. Miles was feeding information to Palmer as like an informant, but that stopped at some point. But here, Miles
this is a dark area, and that's why they're meeting here, like surveillance wise.
Yeah, there was a line of dialogue from Palmer that says, "Oh, I thought we'd pick a place for nostalgia or something."
It's probably the bar.
Yeah, and maybe very well could be. Anyway, so
stools in the background there.
Yeah. Well, so Miles very much does not want to. He's trying to get out of this meeting. He's not a dirty rat anymore. He's got honor and Palmer threatens him with like, well, what if I told all your friends what you used to be and what you did back in 2003? I don't think that don't mean when he gave up everybody when he was being like tortured by the KGB and CIA guys. Do they mean that?
I would imagine, or some other thing they didn't tell us about.
Right.
We'll find out next year.
Or is he the reason like Massey went away? Like did he give them evidence or something?
Probably
like that?
Testified.
Well, I think she gave a lot of evidence in the fact that she was the one on the ship.
And and she had this huge fight with
her getting away with it.
It's kind of hard to say. It wasn't me.
Remember, she kicked Palmer off the ship, but then she saved him and whatever else. So, but her actions were very hard to not did not know what she did. Anyway, so Palmer indicating that he's got this leverage here. This is kind of like in Sons of Anarchy when Juice and that sheriff guy, was pushing on.
Yeah, but was he the sheriff of Mars? I don't think so.
No. So just the sheriff of whatever that county is they call it there.
Some earthly nonsense.
That's right. Okay, then we go back to our new character. What's her name? Boyd? Also Boyd. I get because the episode is directed by somebody named Sarah Boyd, but we also have a new character named Boyd, whose first name I don't know. But anyway, she's
Probably
like
Sarah.
I don't know. She's like our detective. She's like our like I just was watching Blade Runner with Jane. I'm like, I guess this is like our Blade Runner lady character. She's trying to like solve this mystery. Like she's one of the Mars peacekeepers, but she kind of going beyond what her assignments are here. And she's watching the news about the whole Lee Jong-il thing and him, being charged with murder and extradited. We also see the gun she carries, which we'll see that one of Ed's like fellow rebel guys will get shot with one of these later on in the episode. I'm guessing that there's some kind of BB gun, like not
her name is Celia.
Celia Boyd.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so she gets her beret. You always know you're on the good team if you have berets. Like that's the real mark of the heroes.
Or you're gonna fight zombies. One of the two.
Is that a raspberry beret, Heather?
Yes, it is.
Kind you find in a secondhand store.
Yes, I think she got that one new.
Yeah. But just the kind, Anyway, so she's going along. She's trying to solve all that. Then this is where Ed and his buddies go to talk to Dev to try to intervene for Lee. And Dev's, he's shooting them down. Dev's like, well, I what do you want me to do? Like, I can't. I'm hiring him a lawyer on Earth. And Ed makes this whole case for the fact that he's the reason we got the Goldilocks, and he's done all kinds of great things here, but Dev says his position is not so secure. His competitors are being awarded contracts, and the M6 are looking for an excuse to ship Dev back to Earth.
And quite frankly, he doesn't care.
Can I just make an observation on the episode? I noticed maybe it was just me.
Lost Dave.
Oh, but to you, did Dev's voice sound deeper?
A little
Did
bit.
you guys notice that throughout the
It's
episode?
all the steroids.
Yeah. Oh, I think his voice sounded so much deeper in this season. Like so far, I'm just like, what? Oh, like it's not the same like pitch, which I found interesting.
His balls are hitting his knees.
I wonder if the actor has made a deliberate choice to drop the pitch of his voice because he's meant to be older.
Yeah,
to be.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because his voice definitely sounded different.
I would think that it's always interesting to like Dev has like a big living quarters or office space with no furniture in it, and his house was like that, and his he never had an office on Helios, so it's just interesting how they choose to
depict this.
This.
And they're
on Dev on the cover of Men's Health magazine. Watch, I think that it's we can agree that was him.
Yeah.
No, I'm not agreeing to that.
No.
Nope.
All right. Well, because I just saw this actor was Eddie something with a G is the actor in real life, and he just played Mr. Terrific in the new Superman, and his voice was definitely not that low in that movie. He was more like what we were used to. So yeah, I think you're right. It's probably a deliberate choice to make him older here. Anyway, Ed's pissed off. Ed tries to push Dev here, but Dev can't do anything or won't do anything. He's trying to get his little cities made, his little ring cities made. So he tells the resistance to go packing, and they're pissed off at him. Now, here's my complaint for this particular shot. Because as we pull away from that meeting, we see Dev's office here that's in this cliff or mountain on Mars. And I'm like, what? How would they build this window into the rock? And like, why? It's like they built the structure and then they covered it in rocks. Or were the rocks already there? I found that confusing. Please tell me I'm wrong.
You're not
what
wrong.
Dev wants, Dev gets. He's the CEO. He's the boss.
That just seems like a completely inefficient way to build something. Like
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I looked it up. You are correct. That is definitely him. I found a picture of him, like a promo picture, and I'm like, holy shit, that guy's butt.
Yeah.
And save.
You can save it.
Yeah.
I admit when I'm wrong.
So we pull back from here in Happy Valley. As we have the next scene in here, which is Boyd goes to see Lee's wife at their quarters, the Lee quarters. She's trying to get to the bottom of this mystery, whereas the other cops, Palmer and his goons, are not doing enough of a job. But Boyd is different. Boyd.
Go back 2 slides when she's standing in the doorway with her hat on. Do you know who this reminds me of, though? Cammy from Street Fighter.
Yeah. Every time I see her. Yeah.
There's a Street Fighter vibe from
100%.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
That's good. Anyway, but she's different. She's here like actually trying to chase down the truth. And Lee's wife tells us that she tells us a little bit about the victim, how she knew him, and that he was working late for this company Kurrigan at night. And Boyd says, well, that can't be, like there's no shipments at night, this isn't happening like officially. But the wife kind of says, well, there's things you don't know, or there are things that aren't official on the books that are sort of under the radar, and the conspiracy grows.
This scene was so the killing. Like this whole scene, I'm like, this is the killing. This is what they're doing.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, it was good, but I'm like, they're ripping it off. But like, because they
feel like maybe I should start that show.
It's a great show. First 2
we could do that show instead of this show. We'd be very happy.
Maybe they had a meeting, Jeff, where they're like, well, people are struggling with the show a little bit after season 4. What should we do? And Joel Kinnaman's like, I know what we should do. Yeah. We should bring in this one from the killing, and we should just do the killing in season 5.
Yeah, we should do a murder mystery. You think
murder mystery?
What else is going on Mars? Nothing.
Fucking nothing.
Yeah. Okay, this is the scene where Ed goes to talk to the governor of Mars, whatever this guy's name is. He's a former cosmonaut himself, and they're having the most expensive vodka ever that has a little gold leaf in it or something, and they gotta down that. But anyway, like the meeting starts off kind of pleasant, but like Ed's here to kind of appeal for Lee, and the rules are that there's supposed to be a hearing if somebody's going to be extradited back to Mars, but Lee is not a legal resident apparently. But what isn't he? Like if he was given asylum by the United States and if he defected, wouldn't he be?
Asylum actually gives you citizenship, though.
I feel like being the first person ever there makes you a legal citizen.
Yeah.
That's a much better case.
He's indigenous.
He's indigenous.
He found it first.
Yeah.
Well, there's an argument to be made there. Maybe
he owns the whole goddamn thing.
Right.
What about Matt Damon?
Well, Matt Damon.
Well, if you want to talk about that, you can go back. Annette Bening and
True.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger. Oh God, yes, that's the original, Jeff. Man,
get your ass to
I think we're confusing things. All right, but anyway, they could have kept this, but this governor guy basically, he said no, he didn't want to, do a hearing or whatever, and then he kind of says Ed's a criminal too, just like Lee, and Ed doesn't like this stuff from the governor. Did you guys agree with the governor at all as he was giving Ed shit?
He just talked right down and shut him right down. I like this scene because Ed deserves to be talked down to sometimes.
Well, he got it. He got it here good.
But I mean, the same token, Ed decided I'm just going to go and do it myself anyway.
Right. Which is probably shocker.
Do you feel like Joel Kinnaman is just like watching lots of like Clint Eastwood movies and he's like, that's what I'm doing. That's his character.
But do you know what I'm really getting is more like when Johnny Knoxville and like the Jackass guys would like dress up like old men, like in like their little skits and stuff. And like they would like mess with people. Like that's what he really reminds me of, like the bad grandpa kind of guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, less I'm less like blown away by like this performance, I would say. It's more like Joel Kinnaman's wearing a mask for me, Anyway, so then the meeting's over and the governor tries to give him a handshake, but Ed snubs the handshake and walks away. That's he doesn't respect this governor man. Then later on, this is here. I guess this is like the Helios control center. for the M6 area, and Kelly comes to congratulate this other guy that works for Helios. That I guess his team discovered this life sample, and it starts off okay, but then Kelly says, "Well, I'm sure you're going to be sending a mission there to go to to look for life," and he was like, "No, I'm actually planning to just send probes, and probes for people, and those are the guidelines for space exploration." But Kelly doesn't like it. Kelly wants them to go now.
I think this whole situation is hilarious. Because
This is the best scene, actually. The scene like going into the dinner is awesome.
remember back in season 3, the only reason she got on the boat to begin with was she's like, there might be life there. And then Danielle stupidly picked her over a botanist who could have helped them grow food or figure out something on Mars when they were in that dire situation, right? They picked her. They never found life.
And then she got pregnant, and then they all had to starve for a year and a half while they waited for food to come.
But then they had to find. Then they find life, and it's not even her who does it. It's a robot, that does it. This is the funniest thing to me. I was like, really? Like she didn't even do it? Like what?
Yeah, she didn't even
The
accomplish
most
this.
pointless of pointless characters.
Remember when that whole there was that whole part in season 3 where she was giving Ed such shit about he was gonna kill life on another planet and everything else, and he was like, "Well, we don't even know if there's anything down there," and et cetera, et cetera. It turns out Ed was right, or he turned out to be right. I guess she was coming in from a cautious point of view, and this guy more cautious than Kelly for sure, because he's not down with this manned mission. And
She's the new Ed.
she's the new Ed. The torch has been passed to the next Baldwin,
Yeah.
and so she's
Think
not
about
happy.
Baldwins, they're all dinks, really.
Yeah,
And they're after themselves a little bit. they
Are they
want
ever?
the glory? They want the glory.
oh yeah,
All
all of them. We'll see about Alex, but he's still a bit of a TBD. But anyway, so then later on, then we got the spaghetti scene where they're talking about this, and and Ed and
Cost shortage. Like, what are they doing on Mars?
That sauce, man. They could. It's not great.
I don't know if this is enough of a meal either. This is a little bit light.
Heather, as an Italian, is this just make you want to just?
She doesn't
Crawl
even
up
want to
the
speak.
fetal
That's how
position.
upsetting it is.
It's
See?
this is like when people say Italian. That's the culinary equivalent.
Or aluminum.
That's Italian spaghetti.
how about aluminium, Jody?
Aluminium is what it's called.
Right.
Would you call it gravy?
No, the Americans call it that.
Right.
Yeah, like New Yorkers.
Yes, although I do love their accents and their cuisine, but this is atrocious, and they should all be airlocked immediately.
They're
Well,
not Italian at all.
They're not there. They're not Italian, but
Does this
Why would
family
they
eat
this
anything
food?
else?
Yeah.
no.
Why wouldn't they eat some Vietnamese food or I don't know, maybe what's Baldwin, Irish? It's just strange.
He is not a
That
cook.
Vietnamese thing. What did they ever do with that whole? She went and found her family. Nothing.
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 They did nothing with that.
Nothing.
But next season, the
Next
dad will show
season.
up on the ship or something.
It'll be a crater.
No, it'll be
It'll be a
in the
crater.
It'll be a
newspapers.
crater, yeah.
Well, she did have that sister or half sister who was the waitress at the. I don't know.
That's
Maybe
the
they-
life they find on Polaris. It's her sister.
It's her half sister.
Who knew? Wow, what a
There's
coincidence.
a wet Baldwin spaghetti.
Well, anyway, so she's saying he thinks I want to go on this mission, and then Ed and Alex are like, "Well, you do, Mom, of course. Obviously you want to go, and then why don't you just go? You're a part owner of Helios. What is this conversation about?" And then she was like, "Yeah, I guess you're right." And just before we move on, here's the dump of the Parmesan. Did that?
Parmesan.
And then you see what he does
Plastic.
after. He does a kind of a spackle thing where he takes his fork and just kind of spreads
Yeah.
it out. and
Sprays
makes
it all
nice
around.
and even. Yeah, it's so gross.
There you go.
Don't get me wrong, Parmesan, all right. I'm
Yeah.
down with
If
Parmesan.
anything we know.
But come on, I'm no.
Oh, I put a
Parmesan
ton
snob
on
here.
mine, but you got to get the brick and crank it. That shit sucks.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's true. Anyway, so Kelly's like, yeah, this food sucks. I'm out of here. And she acts like it's because what her dad said. But, she's going to go talk to
The funny
Dev.
thing there is like, you're a Baldwin.
You're a Baldwin. Well, we know. Trust me, we know.
Selfish. We get what we want.
We take risks. Just go.
Just go. And anyway, then after Kelly leaves to go talk to Dev, basically. Then this is where Alex is like, "Well, I want to help with whatever you're planning with Lee and whatever else." And then he's a jerk to Alex.
Well, Alex calls him. He just calls him an asshole. You're an asshole.
Yeah, just unnecessarily cruel. Like,
with the little beaches comment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He brings up his VR. I forgot about what he said to him exactly, and
that was a dig. That was cruel. It was premeditated. It was not like something he said by accident and then was like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry." He deliberately said that to hurt his grandson. Cruel.
Yeah, because he feels like he's betraying him by wanting to be on Earth.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, you've written the next scene where we'll resolve this then already. So, because this has to get resolved before Ed can die, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Remember simpler times when he just needed him to crawl through a crawl space to go,
Yeah.
Small,
He just wanted him to do space crimes for him, and now he's being cool.
Space crimes.
Right. I don't know. Do you think Ed felt bad after Alex walked away?
Not even kind of.
No, I don't even know if he knows
like,
his name at this point.
I should have told him more. Goes,
I should have told him to be a
ran
man.
away.
Yeah, be a man.
I should have told him to be a man.
Be a man and get on a bike.
Yeah. Well, he has a bike. Dev gave it to him.
That's true.
He crashed, and he did crash it. He almost died.
Yeah.
But nothing hit him. I think that's the difference.
Almost a dead body. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay, so then after this, we get the scene here with Boyd. She's checking out this lead that Lee's wife gave about the Kurgan space elevator and whatever.
Meanwhile, at Mordor.
At Mordor, she's talking. We find out, she's talking to her partner here, Fred, on the phone, and she's doing this late night stakeout, I guess, on her own time. As here comes an unauthorized, unscheduled lander for this Kurgan group.
How the hell are these cell phones working?
They got cell phone towers, I guess.
Yeah.
A good signal here on Mars. I don't know.
I'll live with it.
Anyway, what about this night vision? You like that?
That's all right.
Yeah, and we see what's in this little box that's being brought down? What's the great?
The guy from Seven's wife's head.
It's Gwyneth Paltrow's head that they're smuggling. They're smuggling here from Earth for some nefarious purpose. And
for the jars. That's going to be in next season.
For the jars. Right, and there was spaghetti in that movie too.
It'll be awesome if it's Ilya running a black market out of this company now.
Oh, he probably is. I just bribe everybody and I get all of my legal things. Yeah. Okay, then this is the scene here with Dev and Kelly and the other guy where Dev basically is like the father telling the two kids they have to get along. And he's like, yeah, we're going to do this launch mission to Titan. And Kelly's going to, basically this guy's going to be the commander and Kelly's going to be the pilot.
So get along.
So get along, you two, and I'm your boss, so do what I say.
But are these even the two best candidates for this?
I guess. I don't know.
Like this guy?
I think Dev just likes to solve problems really quickly, and he picks the first two people.
He doesn't actually think about what the repercussions are of them. It's just
like Kelly doesn't have a good track record.
No, she's terrible.
Right.
She was
the other guy I don't know, but he's a dick.
Things on Mars for 10 years. 10 years.
I hope this guy doesn't get her pregnant after they leave.
Oh, probably. She's already pregnant. They haven't even gone on yet.
On Earth with her son had a good and she chose to go back. I was like, when she did that, I was like, okay.
Well, she's in it for the long term, and it seems like Alex can't go home, so why would she go back to Earth? Anyway, so this guy's pissed off. They have to work together, and she tries to smooth things over after the meeting breaks, but this guy basically tells her off. saying that, you know, like you're only getting your way because you're part owner in Helios, and technically you're partly my boss too, but I don't care, and I'm still going to tell you off because I'm sick of you Baldwins. He doesn't say that exactly, but that's my version.
He should.
Yeah. So
And Baldwins are all a pain in the ass.
well, this is historically true in this universe. Anyway, then there's the meeting. Okay, this is like the resistance. This is Ed and his cohort in the restaurant back room with Miles and a few of the other.
Not a single "I want to believe" poster on the back.
Not one. It
Not
looks.
even
You
one.
feel like this is the X-Files room.
This would have been great. Yeah,
This would have been
I feel
Mulder's,
like this
Mulder's
was
office.
last season. I feel like this was last season. I saw this episode already.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they like Ed wants to stage a jailbreak, but Miles and his wife and a few of the others are like, all we're gonna do is get ourselves arrested and sent back to Earth, and this is way too risky. Is this the same Russian girl or is this somebody else? I'm trying to figure out who she was. Like not that
I don't think it's the girl.
It's not the teenager one that was hanging out with Alex and Lily, right?
No.
I don't think so. No,
I don't think so.
Okay. Anyway, so they're all like, "Are you crazy? This is against the law. We can't do that." And Ed says, "Anybody wants to get out now." And and then you see
Why
like
do they have
Miles.
so many bungee cords. Go back. Go back one more. Look at
What
behind
is?
him. What is with all these bungee cords?
It's a lot of pens, a lot of jump bungee cords.
This was
Anyway.
designed by NASA. I would assume they don't use bungee cords, but anyway.
Well, maybe it was designed by Helios.
that's-
Anyway, so Miles and his wife and a couple others, they leave, and now we got forget this guy. I can't remember all these names, but this guy's
No,
here.
because you're bored and you don't pay
It's
attention.
because they're introducing characters left and right all the time.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
Yeah.
why?
They have 1,000 cast members, but no good stories.
But I feel like all of these people were like in season 4, like they were all part of like basically the union in season 4, or they were like the ones who wouldn't.
I think most of them are newer faces.
They're new.
Like
Yeah.
this, she's from last season for sure,
She was in last season, yeah, but
and
the one in the
and-
foreground isn't.
this guy was too.
Maybe.
Was he? I don't know.
This was the guy. Remember, like the Korean guy, the Korean commander was choking him out until Lee like jumped him and then almost
yes.
choked him out
Yeah.
and all that, right?
you're
So
right.
like. Most of these were they were like the people who, when Dev did his whole thing against the union, offering everyone in that to break from the union, these were like the people who wouldn't break. They are the most principled people, basically, you know.
Yeah.
And so they're
being run by Ed Baldwin.
Ed Baldwin's their leader, and he wants to
God.
stage a jailbreak here of Lee.
As one does.
Quickly, we also have this. We have the scene here with at the Kurgan offices. They have an evil Russian secretary running
This was
the
my
front
favorite
desk.
scene.
Can you
in
go
the
back
whole
to
show.
one to Ed? It's like a Scorsese picture, you know, where they've got the union boss or the mob boss, and he's
I'll
the
take
guy.
care of him.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. This is the Jack Nicholson character.
It's like a
basically.
Scorsese picture, only boring.
So it's like that the Irishman.
other.
did.
Yeah.
great analogy, Adam. It sucked. Okay,
You hated the Irishman? Wait,
I think it was a
you
great
see
analogy.
this.
I didn't like the Irishman.
yeah,
Anyway,
that's a great representation. It that sucked too. That was terrible, boring as hell.
Yeah.
So let me just lose it. Anyway, the Kurgan, they're evil. They tell Boyd there's nothing to see here because she wants to see their employee records or something, and the Kurgan goon here is going to escort her out. He's also armed, I guess. So that's fun.
I like her little smirk. Okay, I'll go.
I'll go.
It's like, I'm not really a detective, but I am investigating. But
No,
not
but I think the
officially.
whole point is she now has gotten confirmation based on
She's on to something. She's hit a nerve, right?
Yeah,
and
she's
so
hit a
she,
nerve. That's why they're reacting. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so she leaves, and then we kind of get towards the end of the episode here. So they're getting ready to take Lee to the transport to take him back to Earth for the trial. They're clearing out the crowd here, and then they bring in Lee's when his wife, she wants to say goodbye to him, which Palmer does allow. He says, "Let him have a minute here, everyone," and they have a little scene here. Did anyone find this touching?
No.
The Lee and his.
Because I
No.
don't care about the characters.
It was
All your-
probably the best emotional scene in the episode. But that's not saying much. Right?
There's more emotion between Ed and Lee than him and his wife.
Yeah.
Well, I thought she did a good performance. I enjoyed her performance.
I didn't say her. I said him.
Yeah, well, he says Earth cannot defeat. Like I've survived before. I got back to you. I will come back to you. And they have a goodbye here. But then they take Lee on his way, and they're taking him back to Earth. Then Boyd comes in, says, "What's going on with the transport?" And it got moved up. But as we see, Lee is in the back of the paddy wagon, if you will, here on Mars. And there's the guy who doesn't floss talking to the other guy. And they notice that the pressure is starting to drop inside of this this transport vehicle. They try to go up to talk to the people driving it, which we see. Well, you can just tell from the back of their heads is Ed and this other guy, whose name I don't know. But they're basically planning to do this, and then Boyd comes along, says, "What the heck's?" She starts talking about this Kurgan thing, saying that maybe Lee is not our prime suspect. But before she can kind of tell anything this to Palmer, then I think it's like the emergency gets called that they're trying to kidnap Lee here. They're trying to break him out as the pressure inside of that cabin is breaking off. Lee and the two peacekeeper guards, they're passing out. But I guess they'll be fine. What's a little depressurization?
Is this on purpose, or is Ed having a dementia flashback to season 2?
I believe this is on purpose. Yes, because they even took out the breather masks that would normally be there for emergencies, and they are gone. Although I'm not sure, like, if the pressures dropped this much, it would matter if you had air. But anyway, so they're all passing out, and now Palmer and Boyd are trying to get in there, and somehow Palmer's able to clock the back of Ed's head. He's like, "That's Ed Baldwin's head. I know that back of that head anywhere." And I'm like, "Well,
either that or it's Captain America
anywhere."
Exactly.
Could be Captain America sitting on a bench. Who knows?
Could have been. Could be Joe Biden. Who knows? As the most epic high-speed chase in the history of interstellar space kicks off here. They're trying to get away with Lee.
It's that exciting.
Boyd is ordered by Palmer to lead the charge to go and get them. To take them, bring them in, and so we got Ed.
She's a certified pilot for the hopper things, right?
She is a certified pilot, yes.
Yeah.
They help out Lee here, try to get him revived after they repressurize this back part, but there's a downside to that because also the peacekeeper guy wakes up, and as
I know that guy from somewhere, but I don't know what it's from.
Yeah, and he just shoots this guy right in the back. Or in the side, if you will, with that's not a normal gun, right? Like, what kind of a gun is this meant to be?
Yeah, just looks like a standard.
It's plastic, though.
It's a plastic gun,
but it shoots
probably 3D printed or something.
Okay, because is the idea that it doesn't shoot as fast projectiles that can break the hull?
Maybe.
I never even thought of that actually.
Actually, I did think of that. Like when they were when Danielle was shot, like last season, they had that too.
Well, the bullet actually went into her, but if you shoot through, if you depressurize a habitat, you would kill everybody, right? So
yeah, but maybe it doesn't go through the hull.
Maybe not. Yeah, I'd like to know a little more about those. Anyway, so that guy gets shot. They kind of figure out where they're headed. That they're headed towards that base, and that they're stealing this hopper thing to get away here. The other guy gets shot, so he can't fly. So Ed now has to fly to try to get Lee out, but Ed can't fly because of his cancer. So, but there's no one here else to do it. So Ed says, "Okay, I have to step up." This is the heroic moment for Ed. Everyone, do you feel like he's a hero? He's slapping each other here, and they're trying to get away. Blah blah blah. They escape here as they're flying, and the best, the two cop hoppers, I guess, are coming after them. You know, that these bastards are on my tail. What? Meanwhile, Ed's coughing up a storm because his cancer, I guess, is.
You know what this was like? You know that scene in Seinfeld where George is like driving like the old man vehicle? And,
Yeah,
like,
he's being chased by them, and he just.
That's what this was like.
Yeah.
It was the space version of that.
Right. Maybe it would have been better if they kept them as ground vehicles for this sequence here. Anyway, Ed's coughing up a storm. We don't know if he's gonna make it. Blood's coming out. He wipes it on his pants. His pants are ruined. And
Those pleats. No.
Those are his favorite slacks.
exactly.
God help him if he gets it on the Velcro clasp, man.
His trousers.
His trousers are coming along here. This is the other base, I guess, the ISN base that they are headed to. And he says, "Okay, Lee, you go suit up, and I'm going to give you the time you need."
I'm going to crash.
What about you? Now, it doesn't matter about me. And he thanks him. As they then.
And you know what? Here's like, there's a go back a couple. Like, you know, Ed's talking to one of his best friends. Look at that! Look at that warmth in that face.
It's like he's talking to his children.
He's being a man. That's how it goes. You know?
Yeah.
The other thing we also found out in that scene with the governor earlier was that back, this interesting thing that happened off camera, like in that 18 months when they were all stuck there on Mars with no food, that Lee had to go out there and get the life support going or something like that, and he risked his life, and he was a hero then. He saved everybody, whatever. So I think Ed feels.
For me lately, Dave. What have you done for me?
What have you done for me lately?
Yet again, something interesting that happened off camera.
Off camera. Doesn't matter. It's yada yada it. As they get here.
They yada all the good stuff in these seasons.
I know. Boyd's after them, and so they land. And then Lee basically has to run in a spacesuit. But hey, it's Mars, 1/3 gravity. You can get there faster. He's being chased by these peacekeeper cops. And this little panel that Lee has to get to, I guess, is in Portuguese and in Mandarin or Chinese on the panel to remind us of who they are. And he gets in there. Yeah, remember when it was like Margot and Sergey were going to go work in Brazil and help their space program?
I'm surprised DoorDash wasn't a sponsor.
Anyway. They can't get to Lee now that he's in that base, but they can get to Ed, and Boyd tries to find Ed Baldwin here. She's got her weapon drawn on him as she comes along, but he's passed out, and she checks his pulse here as the episode ends. And we need a medic here. Stat: world hero Ed Baldwin could be dead. Everyone,
he's not.
And he's not, but he could be.
He will be this season, but probably not this one.
Probably not right now. And that is
if he is, though, that'd be amazing. I mean, boy, that would be sad.
Wouldn't that be sad? Mm-hmm. So, does everyone like it anymore that we've run through what happened?
The episode isn't as bad as last week.
I feel like something is happening. We're getting some things rolling.
Things are happening. We got a murder mystery or something.
You got the slowest chase scene ever.
Got the slowest chase scene.
It's like that scene from Austin Powers when the guy's going against the cement flattener thing, and he's like, and it's like you see it, and it's like just crawling at him.
It is a little bit like that.
Has there been a spaghetti scene every season?
Yes.
Yeah.
Multiple.
We have to be reminded of Baldwin spaghetti because it is delissimo.
I don't think there was a spaghetti scene in season 1. I think that was a season 2 on.
It's the perfect Italian dinner.
It started when Karen bought the bar.
Yeah.
Well, when they got Kelly, because then it was established this was like a Baldwin family.
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
that's right.
So their first son, what was his name again? Shane.
He didn't get spaghetti.
He didn't get no fucking spaghetti. Nobody
No,
liked that
spaghetti
kid.
is ethnic food for their ethnic baby.
Oh, jeez. Maybe some
Shane.
fun facts. Maybe.
Sure.
Oh, can anyone see me? Okay, good.
Yeah, I can see you.
I got a few.
Adam.
Adam's
Okay,
got some
Adam,
fun
you're up.
facts. Sexy fun facts.
Let's talk about the title. roll the hard 6. It means taking a risk, unlikely action, because it's the only shot you have left, and it's a hard 6 because you got to roll 2 3s.
Hold
Right.
on.
Mhm.
Isn't that what a Hail Mary is?
Yes.
They couldn't take that. That was a Ryan Gosling movie.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
it made me remind me, Jeff, of years ago when you and I first made our first curling team, right? And we made you the skip that year when we were with Seymour and Terry. And I got an email from Jeff Gilbert. He said, "What? Jeff is skipping?" And I go, "Sometimes you just got to roll a hard 6."
So
Ed Baldwin-
I
sounded
guarantee you
He took
half
your
of
lead.
that only happened.
Dave, you
Did
sounded
you
very
follow it up with "I'm Batman"?
I did.
well. I was going to say, Dave sounded very Captain or Commander Adama like there, and it actually comes from Battlestar Galactica when Commander Adama says it all the time in a desperate tactical situation, which is much more exciting than this show, by the way.
A lot of the same
You
people
sold me.
involved, though.
Yeah, same people.
I actually the 2 writers on this show wrote for Battlestar as well.
Yeah,
Which-
like they're.
Doesn't
So,
make
Like
any sense.
they've worked with Ronald D. Moore for many years.
so you're not selling me now, then, is what you're saying.
Now, I guess Weddle and Thompson also wrote for PSG.
and Deep Space Nine. Yeah.
This is the episode where the major traitor reveal drops. Miles, and I think it was missed by us all, but Miles is a traitor. He's turned his back on his guys, his gang. You know,
Oh,
it's
we
not
know.
Oh
working
no,
for
I
him.
got that, but we didn't really go over it in the recap.
Well,
Is anyone caring about Miles? Like, I
No.
can't care less about this guy. Like, like he's so not important to me.
Yeah, all he cares about is making money, which is like he doesn't like. There's no cause for him. Like like there's nothing to.
There's nothing to redeem his personality.
Yeah, like there's no
Yeah.
story there with his
There's
character.
nothing.
Really.
That's what
He's
the whole
just a
show has
vapid
become.
character.
Yes,
Mhm.
the whole
It's,
show is
it's
kind of.
all money and corporations and this.
Yeah.
But it's like it's kind of true. I think that's kind of the sad truth of this show. Is this
They're trying to be realistic.
This is kind of what
Sure.
happens. Like this is what happens with everything. That's it seems altruistic at first, and then it always ends up in some sort of corporate greed or power, or something takes over, and nothing. Like even like this space mission that's going on in real life right now. Like it's fun, but like somebody will co-opt it down the road or be like, no, we gotta find a way to get minerals out of the moon or something. Like I won't be surprised if
And I think the show is trying to acknowledge the reality of that. And I think that's part of the reason we stopped going to space was we're like, well, where's the money?
well, the other
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
I mean, they're already starting down the path of the space race again, like against China. So you're
But
right.
I think we're only doing, or like more specifically, the United States is doing it because they're like, well, China wants to go to the moon. And they're like, we can't let them do that.
right.
So, right? We have to go. If it wasn't important enough for you to do on your own, then why do you care if they're doing it? Like that's
If
what
they
that's
get
my.
there first, they'll realize we didn't actually go there.
Oh, Kevin, the eternal cynic. Okay.
Even I rolled my eyes on that one, Kevin.
I liked it.
So again, we've got
Conspiracy.
more corruption being exposed in this episode with the founding or the exposure of Kurgan, the Russian corporate presence, conducting secret, unsanctioned nighttime operations. What's going on there? And they're exploiting labor, the nighttime, the crater labor, and
The corporation exploiting its users. Oh yeah, okay. That
a Russian company.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna shit on Russians, but I have a line. Okay. Mostly, I just don't want to get killed.
And we touched on the fact that the Baldwins like risk. They'll roll a hard 6 all day long. So let's just go back to what Ed has done over the years. Okay, so Ed has defied orders during the Jamestown crisis in season 1.
Yep.
He pushes Apollo Soyuz diplomacy to the brink.
Yep.
He almost took them to war.
Mm-hmm.
He in season 3 he risked the Mars mission for personal loyalty.
Yep, that's right.
And then last season, he backs Dev's road plan to seize Mars autonomy. So he's a wild card. He's rolling
huge wild card. Huge. Like to the point where I have a hard time accepting that he is like a realistic character in any way. Like he just feels like a contradiction, a massive contradiction.
So I mean, some character flaws or character traits of Ed. He'll always choose the person over the institution. He'll always take the long shot gamble because he believes it's right, and he'll always do it even when he's too old, tired, and grumpy.
And I find generally like career military guys like Ed are more like put the institution ahead of the person every time.
Yeah.
Not
until
anymore.
They're screwed over by their governments.
Yeah, not anymore. Not in the world we're living in today.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
that's true. But like that's what you would imagine someone like Neil Armstrong would do, or something like that.
For sure.
Okay, so I'll leave it there and let's get into ratings.
All right, thank you, Adam. All right, let's get into the ratings. Sexy ratings.
Sexy ratings with Dave Mater.
Yeah, there we go. Now, last week we averaged 3.9. Let's see how this goes this week. Jody?
I was originally going to give it a 3.
Yep.
But through our review, I've noticed that there was no scenes with Margot, so I'm going to give it a 4.
Right. And hardly any Elena, right? So,
which is like, you know what? 4.5.
4.5. All right.
That's another half point.
I don't even know if we have a scene on Earth in this episode.
Okay.
We don't need one.
Dave, you pointed out something
later.
great. That was only 40 odd minutes long. I forgot about that. So I'm doubling my score from last week. This is a 6.
There we go. A 6 from Adam. Things are on the uptick. All right.
It feels like the universe is going back to the way it was.
It's not a 9, Jody. It is not a 9.
That's
okay. My turn. This was better for me than last week, but it didn't blow me away either. I go 6.3. Kevin?
0. There is nothing here. There is nothing here in this episode. Nothing is happening. No, but there's nothing to care about.
All right.
I can really typically agree with Kevin, but not tonight. It wasn't that bad.
Not that bad.
Compared to last week, it definitely wasn't.
Heather?
Come with me,
Like
Heather.
a 5.5.
Oh, a little bit lower, Heather. You're almost
No, don't let him push you into a rating you don't want to give. All right, and Jeff, you're the last.
Like a 3.
Wait, so you like this less than the first episode?
It was bad. Like this, it's overall. Like the first 2 episodes should be really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good. It's
Maybe
like,
they're going for a reverse procedure this season where they're gonna like go really strong in the middle.
The only thing I like, is the detective murder mystery part.
Yeah,
and they're not really doing it well. Like like it could be good, but it's just not very good. So
Well, no,
it's
and
a
we've
3
been
only.
talking. We've been talking about them wanting to find life, but that's like a C plot.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like doesn't even matter because
I don't even think it's a plot at this point.
I feel like they're struggling with that storyline because they're like we haven't really done it in our world, so I feel like they don't want to commit too hard or something. But it's just my guessing.
It's science fiction.
I know.
Fiction.
True.
It's fine. You can do what you want.
Well, fair enough. So looking ahead to the next episode, season 5, episode 3, it's titled Home. And in this one, the consequences of Ed's actions begin to show, and Aleda finds a surprising solution to her problem.
What's her problem?
I don't know, but she's gonna find a surprising solution.
That's
Is it
just
from
the
her
way
daughter?
It feels all the time at her age. That
I
would
don't
be
know.
my. That'd be
No,
my
her
thing.
problem is her disillusionment with her job.
That's
I thought she was going to be her daughter. Her daughter that came out last week.
I really hope that's not a storyline this season, but maybe we'll see. Maybe it is.
For a second there, I thought I was on Starfleet Academy again.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, so looking ahead to our other shows here on Live Long and Podcast, we are continuing with our every episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation reviews. We are doing those on Thursdays. We just did Best of Both Worlds, which was the end of season 3 and the beginning of season 4, and now we are moving into season 4, episode 2. It's called Family. This one, it's Picard goes back to visit his brother on Earth, and he meets their family, including his nephew. And there's a storyline with Worf and his adoptive human parents, and Wesley Crusher and his late father. So check that out on Thursday. We'll be talking all about that. Before that, though, on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about our next episode of Survivor 50, episode 7, titled "That's Not How I Play Survivor." And it's got Coach. What's he up to, Jeff?
He's just cheating but talking about honor and code.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
that's what Coach does.
He's
like Ed Baldwin.
Yeah,
He's a real Ed Baldwin
of Survivor.
Real Ed
He totally
Baldwin.
is.
He's the Ed Baldwin of Survivor. He really that's probably actually completely true. So look out for that. And and if you didn't know, last week we did our whole live reaction to the Artemis 2 launch. It was Jody, Adam, Heather, and I, and it was great times. Very memorable. And I've been really enjoying watching the clips of them, up in space. Like, I don't know. There was the whole thing with, especially the Canadian guy.
I turned it on right when I came home. I was like, oh, there we go. Throw that up in the background there. So I got some
They're going around the moon like right now, aren't they?
Right now, yeah. They just beat
they're
the
almost-
record.
We're almost done. Yeah, they've now gone farther than any other.
Any humans ever have before since Apollo 13.
So cool.
And like even Lovell, was that his name? The guy who went on the commander of Apollo 13 that Tom Hanks played. He had like pre-recorded a message for them because I guess he knew he was going to die before this happened. So he pre-recorded a message for them saying like, "Welcome to the club and congratulations." So
Really?
Oh, now
Yeah.
Heather's gonna cry. Damn it, Dave.
so yeah. Well, sorry.
Why do we keep making Heather cry?
It's
It makes me
special
sad.
time. It's a special time for humanity.
Yes, exactly. And why can't they do that on the show?
I wish that Trump would just be quiet during this period of Artemis and just let us enjoy one thing.
I haven't watched this.
Not gonna happen.
That's
That's
not as good as that.
gotta be pissing him off.
We can't have nice things.
No.
So, or at least we can't have them without having a lot of other bad
It's been
things.
the greatest 3 days of my life. I have not interacted with anything other than NASA stuff.
Look, you're not allowed to have daycare, you're not allowed to have Medicare, and you're not allowed to enjoy a space race, okay? Because
Okay.
we're at war.
Oh, I'm not. I'm Canadian.
You're coming.
I'm not going anywhere.
Well, we'll see.
You know
We'll
what?
see.
We're not
Not
being
for that
invaded
cause.
because he just found out that we're part of the monarchy.
Oh yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
King Charles would be upset.
Good thing we have a king, eh?
Anyway,
All right. Well, with that said, we'll sign off for tonight. See you next time here on Live Long and Podcast. And everyone, you have a fantastic time. Go Artemis to go. Have a great one.
Yeah.
Bye.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and
Play.
Podcast. Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.